First one of the season, technically speaking, all right? Eagles win 16-13 against the Ravens in M&T Bank. Johnny Wilson came to ball. Trotter Jr. came to ball. Man, Kelee, Ringo definitely came to ball, man. Straps, all right? We're about to talk about all that, all right? I'm Wesley. You're watching Beast on Broad Street.
Yeah, reporting live from the underworld. Coming from a place that's never been unearthed. How much is your soul? Tell me what it's worth. Do you put your pride on money first?
All right, so the strangest finish to a game that we've seen in a while, man. The Eagles come out on top against the Ravens. Part of me is happy we won that game because the Ravens just annoy me every time we see them during preseason. Because, like, why you... It's just like they're preseason like warriors, man. I really don't understand it. Aside, like, I get play to win the game, but bro, it's 4th and goal. I'm ready to see our defense, see if they can make a goal line stand and they roll out Justin Tucker. Like, what are we doing, bro? I know you were annoyed. I know you were annoyed like I was. That drove me crazy because we're just missing out on a good situation. Just for the rep, like for your offense, for our defense. Like, you don't want to see what happens here. Like, all right, man, whatever. So part of me is glad we won that game just because it was kind of like a slap in the face to the Ravens. But anyways, man, there are a lot of things I want to talk about here. So now and I want to hear like in the comments too, like what really was your, like, I guess your highlight of that game last night. But for me, that run game, man, I don't know how you can say anything else aside from, we'll talk about Kelee Ringo because he was a clamp god for, like, I don't know. Yeah, something came over him, man, because any ball thrown his way was getting broke up. But the run game, our O-line, man, that's my biggest takeaway as far as, like, what my biggest highlight was. It doesn't matter what running back touched the ball. It did not matter, man. Like, we were ripping off. Like, I was expecting at least 4 or 5 yards anytime we hand the ball off to somebody because our O-line on all levels, on all fronts, man, was just dominant. Like I said, man, it didn't matter if it was Gainwell, Shipley, Davis Price, Lou Nichols, Milton, Kendall Milton. It just did not matter. And that, to me, speaks volumes of not just Stoutland and how good he is, like how lucky we are to even have a coach who can just turn your worst lineman into, like, a league average lineman. Like, just having somebody like that on our coaching staff it goes a long way, man. And I'm just grateful that he's on our team, right? And also Kennard, man, he was in the game for like, I think majority of the game, Kennard was in, whether it was right guard. I feel like he might have, did he come in at left guard? I don't think so, but I can't remember. But I know he was in the game pretty much the whole time, and he looked good. Our O-line just looks solid, man. And so I don't know, man, I just want to shout out Stoutland and the O-line entirely, man, because that was fun to watch for me at least. So let's break it down as far as running backs go, all right? Because look, I don't care, man. Take your pick, because honestly, they all look good to me. And I get it. The hot topic right now is Shipley because, rookie running back. So one thing about Shipley, right? So we were all, well, I don't know about all of us, but I know me, for instance, like, man, I was concerned about Will Shipley in pass protection, picking up those blitzes, just, getting his hat on a guy, coming in through one of the gaps, man. So to see him, there was one play, man. I think it was on a 3rd down. Someone came in. Shipley came in to pick up the blitz, and he pick it up, man. He got in there, man. He didn't get blown up or anything. Like, he stonewalled, and it was just a nice pickup. It was just a breath of fresh air to see him do that. And on top of that, like, just the whole drive in general, where we scored that first touchdown, man. Shipley meant business, man. He get that ball, he was falling forward. He was getting, someone touched him, man, he's getting an extra yard. I don't care. Did not matter. So that was really nice to see from Will Shipley. And that's what I'll say about him. But, like, Does that move me as far as do I think Shipley is going to be that running back too? Not really. I mean, I think we still need more to see because I still think Gainwell came in. You can't tell me Gainwell didn't look good, man. He was, found the hole, bam, hit it hard, just doing everything that I know Kenneth Gainwell can do. So they both of them look really good, and I know, don't get me wrong, I'm excited about Will Shipley too. I like what he can do, especially with that touchdown catch out of the backfield. It was just nice to see. So I'm with you on the Shipley hype. I'm with you. I still think Gainwell's going to be our running back too, but I love what I saw out of Shipley right now. But we'll see as training camp goes on, joint practice with the Patriots. We'll see what happens there, including that preseason game. Maybe something will change. We'll see. I'm going to keep a close eye on that running back group because they all look good. They all look good last night. So I guess that's, as far as my key takeaway, that was the standout highlight for me, is just running backs, run game, and the O-line. Just how could you be mad? How could you not be excited about that? What I want to talk about, right? So Johnny Wilson, he looked sharp, coming out, like, he had I think he had a couple. The only drop he really had wasn't really a drop; it was more of a pass breakup. Because Nate Wiggins, he was balling out, man. I don't care, I don't care what you say, man. Nate Wiggins was balling out last night. It is what it is. So, I think that was Johnny Wilson's really only, I don't call it a drop, but that was the only pass or target that just didn't end up in a completion. Johnny Wilson looked good. He looked like he had some strong hands. He really looked good in the run, and just blocking in general. There was some plays on some bubble screens to Covey, I think. Maybe someone else, but I think it was really just Covey. They were really hitting that bubble screen with Covey, and I know everyone's gonna be, that first play bubble screen had people shook, had me a little like, I don't like seeing that. It's like PTSD to even see a bubble screen. But we gotta keep it a buck, man. Like, you're not gonna see this is the most vanilla play calling that you're probably gonna see is throughout preseason. You're not gonna see the full playbook. You're not gonna see everything. They're not gonna run all their pre-snap motion stuff during this preseason, especially without the starters in. Jalen Hurts or Kenny Pickett is not Jalen Hurts. Tanner McKee's not Jalen Hurts. So anyone concerned about play calling after last night, look, you should not be watching these games like that. You're not going to see. They're not going to, break out their playbook in these games. There's not. You're going to see very simple play calls. That's what we saw. Short passes, RPOs, quick passes. There was it's not like Pickett is really going to take off, and McKee's not a mobile guy, so it's really one read type RPO offense. So other than that, I don't know, man. I thought Johnny Wilson was really good and just blocking on those bubble screens. He had a couple pancakes, man. Like true pancakes, man. I really like what I saw. So those bubble screens might actually be worth running with him blocking. It's not. I don't want to see Devontae Smith blocking on a bubble screen this season, like the rest of us, right? So, but I just liked what I saw out of him. Anywhere he could make a play, make an impact on a play, Johnny Wilson was doing that. So, really like what we got out of Johnny Wilson. Brenton Covey, man. We just were talking about, man, the bubble screens. Brandon Covey looked he looked like he meant business, man. He's coming for that spot. And we've talked about this before. He's putting on a respectable camp, as far as offensive, just offense goes. But Brandon Covey, man, he looks like he could do something, man. I actually might be a little comfortable right now. I like where he is on those little short passes here and there. He looked good. Look good. He's making the catches, making every catch that came his way. Right? He got some good targets. Really kind of being someone the quarterback can trust, a receiver the quarterback can trust. Him and John Ross were they were getting targeted, which good for John Ross because, after that little injury that he had during camp, it was nice to see him just come out there and just be like that. Be a vet be someone who's been in this league before, get his targets and really like make the most. Well, like really, there was like some plays like on those deep passes where like I felt he just didn't, like either the ball wasn't thrown deep enough or he didn't know whether it was going to be a back shoulder fade or, excuse me, a back shoulder throw on the sidelines, and he like kind of slowed down. He just didn't like it. I don't know. It just seemed like he wasn't on the same page with the quarterback every play, which doesn't necessarily fall on John Ross, but I just thought that's worth noting. Like, but other than that, man, like if the ball was thrown and it was gonna touch his hands, man, he was catching that. So I love to see that out of John Ross. That was nice. As far as receivers go, like, yeah, like Johnny Wilson, but Braden Covey, man, was kind of like, I don't want to say he was the standout guy at receiver, but I just really liked what I saw. Like the effort he was giving of him and Johnny Wilson, I just really liked the effort that they gave. And especially when Johnny Wilson wasn't getting the ball thrown to him. Like it's just nice to see a guy like just fitting in where he can, making a play, even when he's not the one touching the ball. Like, love to see that. So, as far as receivers go, that's kind of where I'm at. There wasn't really much to go off of it because there was so many short passes and just RPOs. Wasn't really much to like really dissect because we didn't really stretch the ball down the field. And who's to blame for that? I mean, I don't really expect much out of Kenny Pickett, but I did kind of want to see him get the ball down the field a little bit more, like, or a little bit more accurately. It just felt like it had to be a quick pass for him to be successful. And he had an okay night, Kenny Pickett, but it's nothing that I'm like, I don't know. It's nothing that I'm excited. It was nothing exciting, really. It wasn't anything that like, there's no like big flashes or anything like that. He just made quick throws here and there pretty well, even though I still feel like he hung on the ball on some of them a little too long. But, that's kind of where I'm at with Kenny Pickett. I didn't really see anything that I love. Tanner McKee, I thought, honestly, was a little bit more impressive than Pickett just because of who he had to work with. I feel like if you threw Tanner McKee with that, like kind of like that second team offense with Ross and Ross, Covey, and Wilson, I feel like Kenny Pickett would have moved the ball down the field a little easier, stretched the ball down the field with a couple more like, more intermediate to deep passes. I just feel like Tanner McKee's a little better at that, and I feel like it showed. Not saying that McKee's just the light years better than Pickett. I still feel like Pickett has the experience where I trust him a little bit more, but I don't know, man. I if I'm talking about last night and only last night, I just feel like McKee looked a little bit more impressive dealing with who was it, like Foch, and like he was working with essentially nobody, and like he still managed to like drive the ball down the field. McKee was making some quick throws that were like, I don't know how it wasn't broken up or intercepted sometimes. I'm like, how did he even fit the ball into that window? Even though it was a short throw, he just looked really accurate. So give McKee maybe like just like a step ahead. If I'm just basing it off of last night, I'll give McKee, kind of like the one up on Pickett right now. But nothing, I don't know. Nothing I don't think Pickett can overcome. But that's kind of where I'm at with just like the passing and receivers. I really want to talk about the defense, honestly, like, because there were some things I really liked, especially out of our linebackers, and then there were some things I really did not like as far as our edge rushers go, right, or just the pass rush in general. It was a bummer that we really only saw, like, I guess the first team defense for a little bit. I know that whole report Jeff McClain put out about all the starters getting like at least like one series. It did not turn out that way. I mean, aside from the defense, offense, the starters just right, they held them up for whatever reason. I'm assuming it just because of field conditions, or they didn't feel comfortable doing it. Whatever. I'm not someone who needs to see the starters. I would have liked them to get like one series, but it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure they'll get out on the field at some point in one of these preseason games. But I don't know, man. Like the defense, like just the pass rush itself, just was kind of underwhelming. It picked up a little bit in the second half. Don't get me wrong, but like And all right, so like they're going against Josh Johnson. He was who started for the Ravens last night, and he's a mobile guy. He's old. He's an older guy. He's an older quarterback, but he can still move. He's fast. He's faster than most quarterbacks. So or more mobile, and he's a little bit more experienced. So like I can see where it's kind of tough, but like I just feel like there still wasn't enough pressure regardless. So I can't really give them that excuse that Josh Johnson's a mobile guy. I still felt like there was like just a lack of a pass rush early in the game. With that being said, Nolan Smith did have a big sack that I liked. He came off, I think it was a miscommunication with the left tackle for the Ravens, but because he kind of picked him up late. But even when he did get there, Nolan Smith, dipped under him and was able to get around him and just had a nice sack. Nice sack on Josh Johnson, which was just, it was really refreshing to see because, again, that pass rush was last night. So, kudos to Nolan Smith making that first. Oh, Trotter had a sack too. And we're going to get to Trotter because that's kind of my next point as far as linebackers go. But, that just like that edge rushers, man, I'd like to see more out of them in these next coming practices, especially in the joint practices against the Patriots. I just want to see more of that other edge rushers, man. Because pass rush is going to be so crucial to this defense this season. And if we can't get home on those pass rushes, it's going to be a problem. With that being said, Fangio and the linebackers did a great job on blitzes, man. Like the blitzes Fangio was queuing up, I really liked seeing. There was a couple times we had these nickel blitzes, nickel corner coming off the edge, and they were getting home. We didn't. There was one play in particular where who was it? Was it McCollum or Tyler Hall? I can't remember. Someone came off the edge. One of these guys came off the edge from the nickel position. Really moved Josh Johnson off his spot. It was just a nice pass rush. I don't know. I just like how the blitzes get home. And I think we have our group of linebackers. If they're good at anything, they're good at blitzing, right? They're good at finding the gaps and getting through those gaps. So really liked what I saw from that. As far as a play calling standpoint, again, I'm not putting a lot of stock into the play calling in preseason, but it was nice. I just liked the blitzes that were schemed up during that game. I thought Trotter, man. So let's talk about these linebackers. Bond was like, don't get me wrong, I get it. Didn't play as much of the game, but I didn't really see a lot out of Bond. It wasn't awful. It wasn't anything flashy either. Would have liked to see more out of him, especially with all the hype surrounding his name currently, as far as what the coaches are putting out and that he's getting first team reps every day. Him and White, I didn't really hear or see much from him, but give them their time. Again, they're vets, so you kind of gotta give it time, I guess. Now Trotter though was the guy, man. Like Trotter, I think he had 6 total tackles, which was the team leading or tied for team leaders. He got a sack and I think he got a tackle for loss, or excuse me, I might have been Nolan Smith got a tackle for loss as well. But Trotter, man, he was in on every play. There was one play in particular. I think it was a 3rd and short. Josh Johnson stepped up, scrambled. He was about to go right up the middle, get that first down. I saw Trotter come through, just made a nice little chase down tackle. It was just beautiful to watch because a lot of guys do not make that play, or they're out of the position, or they're just not disciplined enough to come down, realize the quarterback is making that break for the middle, going to get that first down. So it's just nice to see Trotter like really come through and make that play. And he also, he got a nice sack again because the blitz just was hitting last night, man. And it seems like these blitzes get home more times than not, especially based off training camp. A lot of these sacks are coming from the linebackers because of that. So just nice to see. So Trotter honestly was kind of that guy. As far if I'm gonna grade any linebacker high in that game, it's gonna be Trotter. With that being said, Dean, who I've just been out on. If you've been watching any of my videos recently, I'm out on Dean. But last night, he showed me something, man. He showed me some flashes. Really needed to see that from him. I was really hoping he would, and I'm really glad he did. He showed some energy. He had a couple flashes, man. There was one play in particular I remember. Again, blitz. Dean came right up, and whoever their Ravens running back during this play is, I can't remember, but he stonewalled Dean off that blitz, off the jump. Dean kept fighting, got around it, and got a nice hit on the quarterback, and it resulted in an incompletion. So that was my first okay, N'Kobe. But and then of course there was a play, short pass over the running back across the middle. Dean sniffed it out, which we all know is one thing he's been struggling is in pass coverage. So it was just nice that he was even there to make the play. So that was nice. But he really made the play, man. Like, he came down, big hit on the running back, broke that pass up, just looked good, man. Just nice to see that energy afterwards too. So, I like what we got out of Dean last night. It wasn't anything. I'm not doesn't mean I'm back in on Dean. I'm still out. I'm still waiting to see more. But it was nice to see last night. He showed some glimpses, showed some flashes that he's not just laying over. So that's really good to see. As far as his confidence goes, especially. And I guess as far as linebackers go, who really was making a difference out there? I really liked. Van Sumeren's Van Sumeren. He can find. He gets his nose around the ball. He's always around the ball, which is nice with him. Again, pass coverage, he's a bit of a liability. I just really like how he's always getting his nose on the ball. When there's a tackle to be made, he's around, or if he's not making it himself. So that's one thing I like about Van Sumeren. Other than that, though, I gotta give it to Jeremiah Trotter Jr., man. He showed up, man. He was just there. He was around just about every play, whether it was special teams, or him just having those defensive reps. Like, Trotter Jr., man, just looked legit. He looked like he was ready to ball, which is what you want to see out of a guy like that, especially a guy who, a lot of criticism about him being undersized. But he makes high IQ plays. He knows where to be on the play, and that's kind of what we need in a linebacker right now. So we'll watch as camp goes, preseason goes on, and we'll continue to keep an eye on those linebackers. But as of last night, or as far as last night goes, man, I got to give it to Trotter Jr. for now. I still think Bond and White are going to be those starting linebackers, off-ball linebackers, but we'll see. I'd like to see more of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. If that's how he's going to be playing. I'd like to see what happens, man. I'd like to see, that's a lot of upside right there from what I saw. So moving on from linebackers, though, man, we gotta talk about Kelee Ringo, man. We gotta talk about Kelee Ringo, bro. He was strapped. Any ball that was thrown his way was getting broke up. Or the receiver wasn't even seeing that ball anyways. Kelee Ringo really not surprised me, because I know he kind of has that in him. But it was just it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. That goal line play, where he essentially it was just him alone, one-on-one with the receiver. Receiver could have, he could have broke out, could have went in. It was nice to see him, read the receiver. Yeah, he got his hands around his hips a little bit, but they were and especially in preseason with younger guys, man, they're gonna let him be physical. It was just nice. It was just a beautiful play, man. Kelee Ringo just rakes the ball out of the receiver's hands, in the red zone, coming off of a slant route. That's what you want to see from these young DBs, man. You want them to be hungry like that. You want them to take advantage of an opportunity. If it's just you and the receiver, and the DB's coming out on top, man, that says a lot. That was a good ball too. It's not like he just played it. He just played it perfectly. And there was another deep ball down the sidelines, just with the receiver stride for stride, gets his hand in there. No chance, man. No chance. And he's just big and physical enough to where, he's not a liability where he's going to be mossed on like every 50-50 ball that's going his way, man. So I really high on Kelee Ringo, especially after last night. And we got to see our guy Quinyon Mitchell, man, even that should have been a pick. Should have been. I wish we would stop dropping easy picks, especially just throughout the whole training camp. But at the same time, man, like, you got to be happy about what we're getting from our first round pick. Quinyon Mitchell made that play look. It was a similar play, right? It's going against Malik Cunningham, which I thought was interesting because last season he was with the Patriots. He was playing quarterback. Now all of a sudden he's a receiver. So take that with a grain of salt. But still, great play. Read the route perfectly. And just kind of snuck in there, and just got in front of Malik Cunningham, and should have made the pick, but he didn't. But instinct showed, and just again, great to see out of your number one or out of your first round draft pick. Really, really high on Quinyon. How could you not be? And especially with the expectations he has on him. I don't know. I liked what I saw out of Quinyon. Wasn't, it is what it is. He wasn't out there all game, but just a great play, and we hope to see more of him. I like to see more of him, especially during our next preseason game against and especially in the joint practice, man. I expect Quinyon to really shine in that joint practice against the Patriots, because I don't know who they have. But Quinyon, that's a practice where you really, because he's not going against AJ in those practices. He's not going against Devontae. He's gonna be going against I'm trying to even think of a Patriots wide receiver, because they just got rid of Juju. Yeah, I don't even know who they got over there right now. I really don't. I'm trying my best to think of someone. Jacoby, no, because he's not even on that team anymore either, man. Whatever, not important. Either way, Quinyon Mitchell, I expect to have a big to shine in that joint practice, really get some more confidence that he already has. But that's one thing that I'm going to be looking at as far as Quinyon Mitchell goes. But really, Kelee Ringo, man, was the guy last night. He's probably, if I had to pick one player who you couldn't really look past, it'd probably be Kelee Ringo. So, gotta give it to him. Shout out Kelee. Hopefully he can kind of keep that going for him again, especially as we enter this next preseason game against the Patriots. We'll see. Obviously Slade's gonna be there, but he's not gonna play in that preseason game. I'd be surprised if he plays in any of these preseason games, honestly. I don't know. I like what we got out of our DBs last night. Not that they really had a lot of, I guess, too many plays directed towards them. It was more of a running type of game, run the ball, and low scoring. But it is what it is. First week of preseason, that's what you got. You got to expect these things. So, what else we got here? We talked about Ringo, talked about Trotter Jr., talked about Quinyon. Aside from that Patrick Johnson strip sack, man, I don't really I don't. That's kind of what we were really getting out of that preseason game. It was a defensive game for sure, and if it wasn't, it was run the ball at will, which I felt we did way better. So that's good. And yeah, man, Jake Elliott, I just want to talk about the end of that game, man. I'm not worried about Jake Elliott. No one should be. He's going to make those kicks. It was off night for him. It is what it is. At least it was a preseason. You'd rather it be in preseason, right? But it was just funny to see Patrick Johnson immediately after get that strip sack, and just I don't know. It was beautiful just because, again, the Ravens are just annoying with this whole preseason. We got to win these preseason games, play to win. Let's get Justin Tucker. We'll just have him kick and get the 3 points, and bro, I don't know, man. They bothered me, so it was just kind of nice that Patrick Johnson just had a nice strip sack at the end of that game. So kudos to Patrick Johnson. Jake Elliott definitely wasn't gonna miss that last kick. So great game, man. that's all I got really right now. I mean, we'll take it. What we gotta come back, Philly. Oh no, because we're gonna have to. I'm gonna be at this joint practice, by the way. So, that Patriots, that first Eagles Patriots joint practice. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna try and get as much film as I can. I'm gonna try and see what I can do. I've been trying to get media credentials to get on the field. It's not guaranteed that that's gonna happen because again, just starting out. So it is what it is, but it ain't gonna hurt to try. If not, either way, I'm still gonna be covering that joint practice as heavily as I can. So make sure you tune in for that. That's the 13th, I believe. I believe that's the 13th. This upcoming Tuesday or Wednesday. I gotta look at it again, but I'm gonna be getting all the coverage I can there. So make sure you stay tuned. That's all I got, man. Just good. Glad that football's back. Oh man, that was beautiful, man. When that was coming on, it was just nice. The kickoff was kind of weird, but I mean, it still was just nice to get back into it. So that being said, I'm out of here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Wesley. Peace out. Have a good rest of your night.